We stayed for 5 days in a lovely hotel in the heart of town, La Villa de Consul, and had a chance to talk with the owner about the hotel and some about the history of Sarlat.
My name is David. I'm the owner of La Villa de Consul in Sarlat. It's a hotel with apartments and rooms located in the medieval quarter. And we have three buildings. The oldest was built in 13th century. The second one in 17th century and the last one in 19th century when they cut the medieval quarter to build the main streets.
Mm-hmm. Yet the interior is so modern.
Yes, because when we started the works, everything was empty, so we had to remodel everything.
Really?
So that's why everything is new. We did it in 2001.
You say you remove everything?
Yes, we just kept the wall and everything else was rebuilt, yes. It took 3 years. Yes. So we have 8 apartments and we have 4 rooms, but most of the units are apartments.
Uh-huh. That's pretty small.
But in all the rooms you have a microwave, a fridge and a coffee maker.
It was truly a pleasure to drop anchor for 5 days at this wonderful hotel. It's more like having our own private apartment, and some of the rooms have a view of the old town from the windows as well. Having a kitchen and a living room with a sofa and a bed was really a luxurious pleasure. And in the summer, are you occupied?
It's full usually from beginning of May to mid-October. Oh. So this is the very busy period. Yes. Of course, the town is very busy from mid-July to mid-August. We have a long season here, so it's very busy, very crowded.
Is it mostly French people?
Yes, more French people in summer, or people from Belgium, or from Netherlands, or from Germany. Uh-huh. And so it's busy, but it's nice because at night you have a lot of street theater, you have a lot of musicians in the town, and all the medieval quarter is pedestrian, even the main street. Last year we had 1.5 million visitors in Sarlat.
Wow. What's your population in Sarlat?
10,000 inhabitants. If you take all the suburbs, everything.
That's a big ratio.
Yes, yeah. Well, this is the 14th touristic site in France.
14.
Yes.
Wow, that's significant.
Yeah.
That's a lot. Well, Sarlat can get very crowded during the season. If you're here in the off-season as we are, it's delightfully uncrowded. We're here at the marketplace and it's almost entirely local people, very few tourists. So if you can come in the off-season, that's any time between November and April, that would be very nice. What's the best time to come here? Well, anytime you can, anytime your schedule allows, as usual. But what do you think is the most perfect month? It's probably April. Not very crowded, and the wonderful, fresh spring air and budding flowers in the hills. That would be a very nice time to come.
This is one of the best preserved medieval towns in France.
We've been to Carcassonne.
Yes, it's very nice.
Which is wonderful.
Yes, but in Carcassonne, what is nice is the wall around the city. Right. Inside, it's interesting, but it's not the same than Sarlat. Yes, no. You have more historic monuments here.
You do, yeah. This is larger.
The first building in the town was built around an abbey. This abbey was where the cathedral is now, in the 9th century. Wow. But at this period, most of the buildings were made of wood. So a lot of buildings have burned. And now most of the stone buildings in Sarlat were built in the 17th century, so the Renaissance period, yes.
And how about in the wars? Was the 100 Years' War affecting this area?
No, because there was no road here and it was outside the main roads. That's why it's very well preserved, because there were no wars. Yes, and what is interesting too is at 20 kilometers around Sarlat, you have a lot of medieval castle. You have all the medieval village, and you have the Vézère Valley, which is a UNESCO site with all the prehistoric. This is also the biggest concentration of prehistoric site in the world. So we have everything. So it's nice you can stay 1 week, you can stay 2 weeks, and see a lot of different things without driving a lot. The painted cave, the troglodytic site. The National Prehistory Museum is here in Les Aisies. It's not in Paris, they did it here. Oh. Dordogne River was the border between French and English. So on one side the castle were English, on the other side they were French.
Wow.
That's why there are so many castles in this area. The drive to the Dordogne Valley, so it's a 30-40 kilometer drive where you have a medieval village and castles. So you have Baynac, which is the most beautiful. It's a 13th century castle with a very beautiful village built on the cliff. And then you have La Roque-Gajac, which is the medieval village along the river, built on the cliff too. There was some troglodytic building there too. And then you have Dordogne, which is a fortified village.
Sarlat is such a special place that you really should spend a few days here at least, at a minimum. In fact, it would be a good idea to spend about 5 days, that's right, 5 days in this area because of the surroundings. You'll find that there are many things to see within 20 to 30 miles of Sarlat. So while you're here, you'd want to rent a car so that you have access to that countryside. And you want to go out and visit the nearby villages. There's prehistoric sites. There's the famous cave of Lascaux. You can see the replica at Lascaux 2. And there's rock shelter sites that are really quite interesting. And about a dozen smaller towns nearby. Another advantage of spending time here in Sarlat, 5 days let's say, is that you'll be sure to catch some good weather. Now, it might be cloudy, it might be rainy for a little bit, but if you're here for the 5-day spell, you're going to get lucky and you're going to get some sunshine, at least some bright overcast, and that makes it worthwhile as well too. So don't make this mistake of only coming to Sarlat for a day visit, for passing through town. It's too precious, it's too important for something like that. You really want to spend some time.